Kalpesh sir, please begin.
Okay, good morning all. Good morning, Mr. Tarun, and all the students of LLM and the participants from various institutions. So today we have our esteemed guest, Mr. Tarun from Gujarat National Law University. So he'll be sharing his experience and the views.
Albus, if you're speaking, I can't hear you again.
Uh, Let me introduce and then hello, आवाज आ रही है? Hello. So today we'll be talking about and sharing experience on international dispute resolution in sports. So let me introduce Mr. Tarun. He's working as assistant professor research at the Gujarat National Law University, and he's also member of Center for Sports and Entertainment Law, and was appointed by the government of Gujarat as a member of the drafting committee of the Gujarat Sports Development Board. With a teaching and research experience of 5 years in the area of sports law, Tarun has been invited as a resource person at various prestigious universities in India like Dharmashastra National Law University, Jabalpur, Symbiosis Law School, Hyderabad, Institute of Law, Nirvan University, Varan University. He was also last year, he shared his experience with our students and the ceremony Gujarat Sports University and the Jagran Lake University and various other prominent institutions. He was the co-editor of Sports and Legislation at like GSEL Journal of Sports Law and Policy. Was recently appointed as a peer reviewer of Extra Cover, the Sports Law blog of India. Tarun is an alumnus of Jamia Millia, the University of New Delhi, and the LLM from the Gujarat National Law University. Currently, he is pursuing his second master in sports law and practice from the prestigious De Montfort University, Leicester, United Kingdom. He has two Government of Gujarat research projects under the name in the area of sports law and policy and published various articles in various prominent journals and blogs. Recently, he has been invited from University of Mumbai for drafting a course on gaming and sports law. So with this, the introduction, I welcome you, Mr. Tarun, for today's guest session. I hope all the participants will be able to get like what's happened in sports law and how the dispute can be resolved. So, Tarun, are you able to? Hello, hello.
Am I audible by any chance?
Yes, 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 yes. Hello.
If one of the participants can let me know if I'm audible to them. Okay. Because I can't hear anything, Kalpesh. There is no sound at all. It came in the
Hello.
beginning.
Yes, yes, you are audible. Hello. Participant, please wait for a second. There's a અવાજ આવે છે હાર્દિક હિતેન હેલો okay, okay, thank you. Second, I've asked him to join here again.
Kalpesh, am I audible?
हेलो, आ रही है आवाज अभी? हेलो।
All right. I think there is some technical glitch because of which I can't hear Kalpesh sir and other people from Parul University. But you know, what we'll do is that I'm going to teach, and whatever questions, ladies and gentlemen, you have, you can put it on the chat. I'm going to take care of those questions from there. So without further ado, first of all, thank you very much, Kalpesh sir, Akil sir, Parul University, for inviting me. This is my third time at Parul University. I've given one webinar before and one physical event. And I'll tell you a very quick story that my first shot as a sports law enthusiast or as a sports law a person who comes from a sports law academic background was actually given to me by Parul University. That was my first a lecture in my life which I gave in the area of sports law. So Parul University is extremely special. Both Akil sir and Kalpesh sir and a few other faculties at Parul University are very old colleagues, very old friends. So it's always an extremely special to come to Parul and be a part of it. And I'm always excited to teach sports law, which is my area of interest in terms of research and in terms of academics. I'm going to quickly share the slides. Yeah, perfect. I hope the slides are visible to everybody. If one of you can just confirm. If the slides are visible. Thank you, Kalpesh sir. Perfect. So, when we had an initial discussion, I had an initial discussion with Kalpesh sir. So we thought of bringing in a topic which is about, an area with, sports law, which is quite a niche area in terms of academic research or teaching. Uh, and we specifically then chose dispute resolution, which is again extremely important to understand. And I can see, a few judges in the participant list. I think that's quite a good thing because dispute resolution is closely associated to judges and lawyers who are on the at a daily level tend to go through the whole process. But in sports law, this whole process of dispute resolution works a little different. And I'll tell you the reason why it works a little different because of the reason that sports as an entity is quite different from a number of other entities, right? So there are in terms of sports dispute resolution, it has its own challenges, it has its own beauty, and that has to be appreciated and understood. And in the next 30-35 minutes, I'm going to try to take care of these issues, and then maybe we for another 10-15 minutes, for another 10-15 minutes, we can have a question answer round. Anyways, let's take the discussion forward, and these are the 4, 5, 6 things that we are going to discuss, ladies and gentlemen. First, there will be a question that what are these various issues that are there in sports. Then we're going to look into the dispute resolution structures in sport. Then we're going to talk about two bodies, one in football and one in cricket, and I chose both of them because football is the most watched and the most loved sport in the world, and cricket has its very close proximities with India. So it was important to take these two sport and see how the dispute resolution structure works in these two sport. Then we are going to talk about something which is known as the Supreme Court in the area of sports law. Dispute resolution, which is the code of arbitration for sport. We're going to talk a bit about what happened in 1994 and how the reforms happened in CAS. Then we're going to talk a bit about the code through which CAS runs, the a bit on arbitration procedure, and in the end, we're going to talk about the enforceability and how the enforceability happens. But my first question to all of you would be, I think everybody, I'm assuming that everybody watches a bit of sport in the participants that we have. What are these various legal issues that can come in while a particular sporting event is going on? Again, first of all, somebody tell me on the chat box the photograph that I put, which stadium is that? Which is the stadium of I put a picture. Which stadium is that? I think if we can put the response on the chat box, that will be extremely, extremely helpful. The picture that I've put in, which stadium is that? It's a very recently built stadium. And I think if you're in Gujarat, you should know about it. And I'm sure everybody has heard a bit about it. Any idea which stadium do we have on the picture? All right, that's the Motera Stadium, the Narendra Modi Stadium. And good thing is that we can connect a lot of things today because the IPL is going on, which is one of the biggest celebrations in India. Now imagine in the Motera Stadium. Thank you, Aditji. Thank you very much. That's the Narendra Modi Stadium. Imagine in the Narendra Modi Stadium or the Motera Stadium, an IPL tournament is going on, right? It's going in the Wankhede Stadium right now. We've got a few matches that have already been played, very nail-biting contest that has happened till now. Now imagine that this tournament is happening in the Narendra Modi Stadium. My question to all of you is that what are these legal issues that might come up while a tournament like IPL is going on? If you can tell me, a few legal issues that can come in while a particular sporting event is going on. According to you, what are these legal issues that can come in associated to that particular tournament? Legal issues I'm talking about. And please use the chat box for the same. I don't know if you can unmute yourself and if one of you can try that, but it'll be great if you can use the chat box for the same purpose. Legal issues that are going to come in while an IPL is going on. Not a specific match, but the whole tournament. There is something that has put in. Company trademarks without permission. That's ambush marketing. Great point by Hardik sir. Absolutely, Hardik sir. That's a very, very important point. Ambush marketing is one of the most important issues that is there in the area of sports. That's a point well taken. Anything else? One is illegal use of trademark and other intellectual property rights. I'm going to put that as ambush marketing. What else? There's so many issues that are there. I'm going to repeat the question for anybody who has joined right now. I think a couple of people have joined. My question is that, we've got a picture on the screen right now, which is of Narendra Modi Stadium, the Motera Stadium. And the question is that an IPL tournament, for example, is going on in this stadium. What are the various issues, legal issues, that are going to come in while such a tournament is taking place in the Narendra Modi Stadium? One point that has come in by Hardik Ji is ambush marketing. Anything else? There's so many issues that can happen. India was infamous for something at one point of time in cricket, especially in the late 90s. What was that? A lot of good Indian players had to leave cricket because of that issue. What was that issue? And I'm very easy, and it's something that happens at a very regular level in world sport. Match fixing, Hardly, very, very important thing that you mentioned. Match fixing is again a major issue that happens. So I'm going to put match fixing as well. Anything else? If you follow cricket, there was an accusation on Prithvi Shaw, who's one of the players in the IPL, also played for India, regarding something. Any idea about that? Become a huge issue. Recently, not very recently though, but not that far off. A number of players, not in cricket, but at an international level, have faced that issue. A number of athletes in India, especially in terms of in wrestling and boxing. The famous cyclist in the world, Lance Armstrong, also confessed that he did something which is not correct. What is that? All right, I'm talking about doping. So doping is another issue that happens in sport. Right? Anything else that happens? All right, other issues can be issues of contracts, right? For example, a player contract or anybody in the ecosystem who's a part of the sports ecosystem, he or she faces contractual issues. That's another very, very important aspect. That is another issue that's there in the area of sports law. And just like these 4 or 5 things that we've mentioned right now, there are a number of other things that happen in sports. Gambling in sports, that's a very, very important thing. That's a very, very important. Gambling and betting is another issue that has happened in the area of sports law, and people are trying to tackle with it. In some jurisdictions, of course, it's legal, but in India we don't really allow that. Because of that, fantasy sport and online gaming has also been into the picture, and how to take care of these issues as well. But gambling is a very, very important thing. Anything else? So we're talking about gambling, we're talking about contracts, we're talking about doping, match fixing, ambush marketing. Any other point that one can think of? I'm sorry. Let's take football as a sport. Very recently, the next FIFA World Cup is going to happen in Qatar, and there were major human rights issues while the stadiums were building up in Qatar. So human rights and sports, the nexus between both of them is also very, very important. It's quite debatable. The various bodies of the United Nations and other world governments have come together to fight human rights issues in sports, right? The Black Lives Matter campaign that went on was another issue that was there. Not in sport, it was in general, but sports was used as a platform, to express oneself, and I think that's quite positive. One should do it, though there are reservations about it, because people say that sports should not be used for political statements and so on and so forth. But as an individual, think that these debates are very, very important, right? Now let's move forward, because there are so many issues in the area of sports law, in the area of sports, legal issues in the area of sports. It is extremely important to have a very sophisticated structure that can take care of disputes if and when they arise. And there are a number of issues that happen on a regular basis in the world of sport, right? Let's very quickly first see the structure of it. So you've got the national sports federations, ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom. So for example, you've got the All India Football Federation, or you've got the BCCI. That's a national federation. These national federations are recognized by the international federations. So ICC, FIFA, FIBA, which is for basketball, and other such international bodies, right? So these international bodies, not all of them, but most of them have their disciplinary committees for sure, but a proper sophisticated dispute resolution body I'm sorry, is not necessary that you have it in every international federation. So you've got a dispute resolution body of the international federation. From there, if you're not, even as an athlete or anybody in the ecosystem, you're not happy with that decision as well, you can go to the code of arbitration for sport. And then there are times that because of an arbitration clause in an athlete's contract or in the constitution of a national federation body, a matter can directly go to the code of arbitration for sport. Though it happens a number of times, but people generally go through this hierarchy of national sports federation, the dispute resolution body of the international federation, and then the code of arbitration for sport. And even if you're not happy with the code of arbitration for sport, the last resort is the Swiss Federal Tribunal, which is the highest body in Switzerland. I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about Switzerland, because the code of arbitration for sport is situated in Switzerland. It runs through the Swiss law. It runs on Swiss law. So, be very, very clear about it. And we're going to talk majorly about the code of arbitration for sport. But before that, let's very quickly go through two important bodies that are there in world sport in terms of dispute resolution. All right, there's nothing on the chat box. You can please throw in your questions as and when I'm in between. I'll take a break and see those questions if there is any clarity that one is looking for. Right. So FIFA has its own football tribunal, and under that football tribunal, you've got three very important aspects. One is three important bodies. One is the FIFA dispute resolution chamber, which is known as the DRC. Then you've got the FIFA player status chamber, which generally talks about transfers and so on and so forth. And the last is agent chamber. So agent, just for clarification, agent is a person who might represent a particular party, and now they're known as the intermediaries in FIFA. And there's a specific chamber that takes care of issue which is related to a particular agent or intermediaries and so on and so forth. But let's just focus right now on the dispute resolution chamber, which is one of the most important aspects of the FIFA football tribunal. And under the FIFA dispute resolution chamber, disputes regarding clubs and players can come in. For example, I've got a club, I'm an athlete, and Parul University is not a university, it's a club. It's called, Football Club of Parul, FC Parul, right? And I've signed a contract with them. But Parul sees that I'm not respecting the terms and conditions of a contract. For example, the term says that every year I have to be a part of a social cause. That can be anything, right? But I'm not doing it. So Parul can then go to, as a football club, can then go to the FIFA dispute resolution chamber saying that contractual stability is not maintained by Tarun, who's an athlete who's a player under us. Contractual stability means that whatever the terms and conditions of a contract are, you have to pay them respect, you have to follow. That's one kind of dispute that comes in. Another can be any kind of employment related, the clauses that were made in a particular contract are not adhered to, for number one, or they're made in a way in which a player is in a very tricky position. He or she is like, it doesn't really help me, you're paying me less, you're not giving me proper compensation, you're not giving me proper game time, and you expect me to deliver. So these kind of employment related disputes can also come in. Another issue that comes in is issues related to training compensation and solidarity mechanism between clubs. So I'll tell you what these two issues are, right? Training compensation, what happens is that till the age of 23, for example, let me simplify it. So as an athlete, I'm with a small club, and in my initial days, right? And then I switched to another club, which is again not that huge, and they are investing a lot on my training and education in terms of football, right? Now I go to a professional club, which is a huge club, Now, what happens is till the age of 23, whenever a transfer would be made to another professional club, for example, I go from FC Palo to FC GNLU, and I was in FC Dehradun, which, for example, let's just say that's a club, a place that I come from. Now, when this transfer happens, a training compensation will be given to FC Dehradun as well. A small share of amount is given to FC Dehradun as well, because that was a club initially when I started training and when I started having education in the area of football. That club supported me, so that training compensation is given to that particular club, which is my initial club, but that is given till the age of 23, if I'm not wrong. Same goes with solidarity mechanism. So, for example, a small proportion of my transfer fee or whatever when the transfer happens will be given to my former club, which gave me space, which gave me training, which gave me education, and so on and so forth. So any dispute relating to these two things, which is training compensation and solidarity mechanism, will also go to the FIFA dispute resolution chamber. So it's about any commercial, any disciplinary aspect which comes in the area of football. FIFA has its own dispute resolution chamber, and that chamber takes care of all of these things, right? Let me quickly see if there is any question. Okay, there's nothing. If you have any question, please feel free to put that on the chat. I'll be happy to take it. Anyways, now this was football, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we can have at least 3 to 4 or 5 sessions maybe only on the FIFA dispute resolution chamber, that how it functions, what are the appeal procedure, how can you go about it, and so on and so forth. But I think we don't have that kind of time today. But maybe in the future we can just have a session on FIFA dispute resolution chamber. Let's move forward and let's go to ICC, which is the International Cricket Committee. And I took cricket as one of the sport that I wanted to talk about because of its close proximity with India and how people are crazy about it, how people love it and watch it every day. And ICC also has its own dispute resolution committee, that is also known as DRC. It's the ICC DRC. And one has to be very clear about the fact that most of these dispute resolution chambers, I think all of them, if I'm not wrong, is done through arbitration in the area of sports law. So if you see the Supreme Court of, in terms of sports law, the Code of Arbitration for Sport also has the word arbitration because they want to come together, put an arbitrator and take care of things through an arbitration and not through the general. ICC also depends on arbitration, and they have that come in the area of cricket, and that can be disputes between members, and members here means member countries, which is India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, England, and all the cricket playing nations which are registered, and ICC also that there was this member countries doing all their rules and regulations within care of those constitutional mandate members or any associated company. So within the ICC, the number of companies. I would request all of you, whenever you get the dispute resolution website and the ICC dispute resolution committee to see structure and so on and so forth. And then there can be other issue which can be of contract, sign a particular a contract with an ICC registered club. If let's take that structure hypothetically. And I'm not happy as to how very session of the IOC, the Court of Arbitration for Sport statute was ratified, and it came into being, right? And the court came into force on 30th June 1984, and they created a Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne, Switzerland, right? And I'll tell you the reason why IOC has its headquarters in Lausanne, Switzerland. WADA has its chair, with the World Anti-Doping Agency has its main chair in Switzerland, and also the Court of Arbitration for Sport is in Switzerland. It's not because of the reason that they love Swiss chocolates or bells. There's a specific reason behind it, and I'm going to tell you what the reason is. So they created the Code of Arbitration for Sport, and CAS has its main, as I mentioned, the headquarters in Lausanne, but it also has its decentralized office in Sydney and New York, and there are some ad hoc divisions. And what are these ad hoc divisions? For example, a football tournament is going on, so they create a small bench while the tournament is going on in the FIFA village. Or, for example, the International Olympic Committees, the Olympic Games are going on. The Olympic Games are going on. So they have they have a CAS panel in the village itself. So any issue that happens while an Olympic game is going on, that can be taken care by CAS then and there, right? And its major function is to resolve legal disputes in the field of sports through arbitration, and mediation is also something that that CAS does, right? Now, what are the parties that can reach out to CAS if there is any issue? An athlete can reach out to CAS. A club can reach out to CAS. A sports federation, national federation
PPT is not visible.
can reach out to CAS, or any organizer can reach out to CAS. Any sponsor can reach out to CAS, and so on and so forth. Let me quickly see if there are any questions.
Yes,
PPT is not visible. Okay. Is it still not visible to anybody? Okay, there are a few questions as well. Let me very quickly see those. Yeah, are the PPT still not visible? Okay, let me share them again. Is it now visible? Thank you, Kalpesh. I'm sorry for the technical glitch. Right. There are quickly some questions. Hardik, your question is: can any team or player deny to accept prize awarded? If you can please put some light on that question. I actually didn't understand the question. If you can unmute yourself, maybe I can hear you. Or if you can put a clarification in the chat itself.
I am audible?
I'll take other question. Among the institutions responsible for dispute resolution in sport, what is the role of WIPO? I haven't come across any specific role of WIPO because it's an intellectual property organization that takes care of it. Maybe CAS goes to WIPO for some kind of advisory when intellectual property matter might come in. Never really heard of it, ma'am. So I will reserve my comments on it because I have no knowledge about the same. Maybe it might be of advisory, it might be of advisory purposes. Because WIPO is a very different organization altogether. It takes care of intellectual property, and CAS is more about sports. So maybe an advisory jurisdiction might come in where WIPO helps CAS in a particular intellectual property matter, which is a commercial matter. But I think nothing more than that I've ever heard of. Sir, how are ICC members selected? They've got their own panel. That's a great question. So if you go to the ICC, the member of the ICC, you're talking about the country as a member or the members who are in the dispute resolution committee, sir? If you could please put that as a clarification, that's all. I think the name is not there. It's Principal Senior Civil Judge. Are you talking about member states or are you talking about the members who are in the dispute resolution committee, sir? If you're talking about the dispute resolution committee members, there is a procedure for it. They've got an independent panel that takes care of selecting these people. If you go to the the ICC constitution, which talks about the DRC, the dispute resolution committee of the ICC, you'll have the whole procedure there, that how independently they do it so that there is no conflict of interest and so on and so forth. Perfect. I hope the PPTs are visible right now. Hadis, if you can please type. I can't unfortunately hear you. If you can unmute yourself, maybe we can give it a try. All right. For example, sportsman denied the prize or award after. Oh, perfect. That's a great question. You can most definitely, Hardik sir, go to the Code of Arbitration for Sport for it. You can actually first go to the International Federation's Dispute Resolution Committee if there is one. But if your contract say that in terms of any kind of dispute, you can directly go to the Code of Arbitration for Sport. You can go to that. Will majorly come within disciplinary committee, if I'm not wrong. But if there are contractual issues, that will come under the commercial aspect. But you can absolutely go to the Code of Arbitration for Sport, saying that I won a particular event, and because of whatever, I've not been given that prize or my medal or whatever. And then the other parties will have to put in their problem, that why they did not give a particular prize to a particular athlete and so on and so forth. I hope I made some sense here, Hadis. If that is clear. All right. I hope Hardik sir. Okay, thank you. Perfect, Hardik sir. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I missed a few of them. I think if anybody is trying to speak, I won't be able to hear. So it's better that we put the questions on the chat, in the chat box. I'm so sorry about the pronunciation of the name, but if it's Michaela, I hope I answered your question regarding the WIPO issue. Yeah. I'm so sorry about the name pronunciation. If that's not the pronunciation, I apologize. You talked about WIPO. I hope I made some sense to you. Okay. Let's quickly then move to the PPTs. I hope they're visible. The PPTs, I hope they're visible. Okay, thank you, Michaela. Right. PPT visible. Perfect. All right. So we're talking about the parties. Now there are two kinds of cases that come to the Code of Arbitration for Sport, ladies and gentlemen. One is of commercial nature, so any contractual issue that comes in, or as Michaela mentioned about IPR issues and all that are going to come in within the commercial jurisdiction. And then there is something called disciplinary jurisdiction. For example, doping is one of the disciplinary issues that comes in the ambit of Code of Arbitration for Sport. There has been a violence on the field that again comes within the ambit of the Code of Arbitration for Sport in terms of disciplinary issue. Racism issues, for example, there are two players, and that we see a lot in football, unfortunately. I'm sure it happens in other sport as well, but football is something that I follow. You see a number of issues in terms of racism, colored players being being hooted by sometimes fans, sometimes by their own colleagues who have been playing against them in the field. So these are two kinds of cases majorly that comes within the ambit of Code of Arbitration for Sport. Right. Now, there is a very quick story that I'm going to tell you regarding CAS. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that the Code of Arbitration for Sport, initially when it started, was taken care by the International Olympic Committee, because there was no such other body that could have taken care of these things. Right? Just one second. Just a moment. Perfect. I think Kavita ma'am had put a question whether doping related issues can be resolved through arbitration. Yes, ma'am. It comes within the jurisdiction of CAS. As I mentioned, there are two kinds of cases that come in. One is disciplinary and one is commercial. So under disciplinary, you've got doping matters as well. And the story I'm telling you about CAS is related to, again, a doping matter. So, I hope I answered the question through that story as well. Right. So when CAS was, created, as I mentioned, it was administered by the International Olympic Committee. Now there is this matter that happened in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. First, it happened, at the International Federation level, and then it went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's known as the Elmar Gundel case, right? You can go to the CAS website and you can have a look at the award. I'm going to tell you the award in short. Now, what happened was that Elmar Gundel was a jockey, right? So there's something called the International Equestrian Federation, which takes care of all the equestrian sport. What are equestrian sport? Horse racing and anything that is related to horses comes within the ambit of the Equestrian Sport Federation, the International Equestrian Sport Federation. Now, when that issue happened, initially, he was given a 2-year ban. He actually doped his horse. He gave some kind of substance through his horse so the horse can run quickly. So he was given a 2-year ban, and then he was not happy with that ban. He took the matter to the International Equestrian Federation Committee. And they said that we're absolutely fine with the ban. It's absolutely correct. You should be fined as well, and the ban will be taken into consideration, and it's absolutely fine. Elmar Gundel wasn't really happy with it. He said, he's saying that I'm innocent. I did not do it. My horse ate, normal food, and somebody had mixed in, and so on and so forth. The whole issue was going on. And then the matter went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And what CAS said that, all right, we understand what you're saying, but the ban might not be for 2 years, but it will be, if I'm not wrong, they said for 3 or 4 months, and there will be no fine. But still, Elmar Gundel wasn't happy. He said that I'm an innocent person. I did not do it. Why should I take this ban? It's going to be bad for my career and so on, and that's why I want to challenge it. And here, a very, very important question came into being while the case was in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I'm really very sorry. I'm sorry. After the International Equestrian Federation, the matter went to the International Olympic Committee. I'm so sorry. I said that wrong. So after the International Equestrian Committee, the matter went to the International Olympic Committee, and the International Olympic Committee said that we are going to give you a 3-4 month ban. And he said that I'm not happy with the International Olympic Committee's decision, and I want to challenge that in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Now, remember what I said, that IOC was administering at that point of time the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And these are two important questions that came while the Elmar Gundel case was going on. One was that, there is lack of independence and there is a lot of impartiality in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's not an independent body and it's a very partial body. And two is that the intervention of the International Olympic Committee in the finances and in the administration of CAS is a major, major issue. He said, for example, if I want to challenge IOC, the only place I can go is Court of Arbitration for Sport. And the Court of Arbitration for Sport is run by IOC. So IOC in such a situation becomes, a judge in its own cause, and that's incorrect. That's partiality. That's not independence. And everybody who was sitting, as the arbitrator, they said that's a very, very vital point. And so it is important now to remove IOC from the Court of Arbitration for Sport, right? And in 1994, a Paris Agreement was made. It created the International Council for the International Council of Arbitration for Sport, which is known as the ICAS, which is now the chief administrative body of the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And under that, you've got two divisions. One is the ordinary arbitration division, which is the case can go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport at the first instance, and the second is the appeal arbitration, that you go from the National Federation to the International Federation to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, right? Now, what the ICAS does is that it's number one, it safeguards the independence of the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It has got some 20 members with it, which are reputed sports lawyers from all around the world. Number of Indians have been have been arbitrators, not members, but I don't know about members. I think members also, if I'm not wrong, 2 or 3 of them have become. But arbitrators, a number of Indians have become arbitrators in the sport, in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And these members cannot appear before CAS as an arbitrator or as a counsel to a party, because they're sports lawyers. For them, it's also about business. But if you're a member at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, you can't be an arbitrator or a counsel to a party. When you're finished with your membership, then you can most definitely do it. So there is something called the Code of Sports Related Arbitration, which was made at that point of time in 1994 after the Elmar Gundel reforms came into being. And the code has 70 articles divided into 2, ladies and gentlemen. One is it talks about the governance of the ICAS and CAS from S1 to S26, and then the whole arbitration procedure is there from R27 to R70. That how a particular arbitration will take care of. It talks about appeal procedures, it talks about oral hearings, it talks about physical hearings, and so on and so forth. And under CAS, there are majorly 4 jurisdictions that come into being. One is the ordinary jurisdiction, second is the appeal jurisdiction, third is the advisory jurisdiction, and 4 is mediation, which is quite new, which has come into being. I don't know how much of mediation is being used in the Code of Arbitration for Sport, but the other 3 are very, very important. I even don't know about advisory board as well. But the appeal procedure and the ordinary procedure are extremely, extremely important aspects of the Code of Arbitration for Sport. Now, I'll very quickly go to the arbitration procedure, some very important aspects of it. Let me first see if there are any questions that have come in. Okay, perfect. Kavita ma'am, I hope I answered your question regarding doping. Thank you very much. If it's clear to you, I can even take it further if there is any clarity that is required from your end. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Now let me go to the arbitration procedure, right? So the languages that are majorly used under R9 or in CAS, I'm sorry, is French, English, and Spanish. I think very recently they've also put in German, if I'm not wrong, but some other languages also come in, but these are the 3 major languages that they use, right? Under R38, you can request for an arbitration. There's a procedure for it. I think you have to file a nominal fee, put in your papers that what is the issue and so on and so forth, and you can request for an arbitration. The number of arbitrators is under R40.1. It can be 1 or 3, or the president of the ordinary arbitration division. There's a president of the OAD, it's called the OAD, who will then decide how many members, the number of arbitrators should be there in a particular matter. Right? The procedure before the panel is R44, and it's divided into 2. One is written submission and second is oral hearing. So what CAS does is that first, when the matter comes into the picture, they will ask for written submissions, right? They're going to ask both the parties to put in the written submissions. First, of course, the person who has come to them, and then the rebuttals will happen. They'll take care of, they'll see how the written submissions are. What is the gravity of the matter that has come into the picture? Is it something that should go to the oral hearing part or not? If not, at the written submission level, the arbitrators can come together and give an award. But if they think that no, both the parties should be heard properly, they will go for an oral hearing. And the oral hearing now, because of COVID, happens online. But generally, you have to go to Switzerland, and that's one of the major issues that a lot of third world nations and developing nations like India faces, because the procedures in the Court of Arbitration for Sport are extremely, extremely expensive, ladies and gentlemen. I think if you would just want to put in a matter, you want to put in the matter in the CAS, the initial fees is 80,000, and then it increases with written submissions and other things. You have to take care of a lawyer from India, for example, if it's an Indian athlete, so that he or she can take care of matters here. And then because it's Swiss law through which the Code of Arbitration for Sport functions, you have to also hire a Swiss lawyer which is extremely, extremely expensive again. So though they have their own legal aid body, but I don't know how much legal aid help or how active the body is, but they have a legal aid body as well within the Code of Arbitration for Sport. Right. So, if they're okay with the written submission, they're going to award through the written submissions. If not there will be an oral hearing that will go into the picture. Then the law applicable to the merits, under the to challenge a caste decision and take it to the Swiss. I don't know why the PPTs are just perfect. Are they now visible again? Yes, Kalpesh sir. There is a provision for legal aid for sports person, as I mentioned. They've got their own wing that takes care of legal aid issues. I don't know how active this is from a few colleagues of mine who work in the area of sports. Now I've heard that it's not very active, but they've got a legal aid center in the Code of Arbitration, Code for Arbitration for Sport, Code of Arbitration for Sport. I'm sorry. You can go to the CAS website and see the details. They've got a whole web page only dedicated to the legal aid issues. So you can one can go and check that as well. Right. So so I was talking about the Swiss Federal Tribunal, and the issue is that the grounds to to challenge an award that is given by CAS are so stringent in the private international law of Switzerland that in most of the cases you can't actually go and challenge the matter in the Swiss Federal Tribunal. So they're very sophisticated and very narrow grounds on which they allow you to do it. But it's for Switzerland. It's a settled norm that whatever the CAS has said is the final award, because they are the main body. They understand sport and the intricacies of sport. So you really can't think of going to the Code of Arbitration after the Code of Arbitration for Sport to the Swiss Federal Tribunal to challenge them. And that is where a lot of debate is happening, that the ground should be made more easy. There should be something that should be above CAS if particular athlete is not happy, because of a number of awards of CAS. A lot of athletes have lost their careers as well, because they did not have an opportunity to again go and challenge. The grounds were very narrow, which are laid down by the Swiss Federal Tribunal. The last part is about enforceability, and it's a foreign arbitral award, and all of us know about the New York Convention, that you can for the enforcement of any foreign award, New York Convention comes into the picture. It's a 1958 convention ratified by India, and each contracting state shall recognize arbitral award as binding and enforce them in accordance to the rules and procedures that are there in the territory where the award is relied upon. And a lot of international bodies like the FIFA Disciplinary Code under Article 15, if I'm not wrong, I don't know if that has changed because the new disciplinary code has come in. There are specific provisions now in which they're saying that the award given by the Code of Arbitration for Sport is the final award and it's a binding award. And if you fail to respect that decision, there are a number of issues that you might face on bans, fines, and so on and so forth. Right. So this was an overall picture of how the dispute resolution system in the world of sports functions. I hope I made some sense. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm happy to take any questions that are there by any of you. Any questions regarding the Code of Arbitration for Sport or any dispute resolution? We only had an hour to take care of these things, but maybe in the future we can come together for a particular course where we'll have dispute resolution as one of the most important aspects. Any question on the Code of Arbitration for Sport? I gave a very general overview how it functions. Any legislation in pipeline at the India level? Excellent question, Kalpesh. Thank you for that. There is one legislation that is there in the Parliament, sir, which is on doping. I think we're coming with the anti-doping bill for sports specifically. There are a number of bills regarding, to have a particular sports law in the country. Ethics, sports ethics bills are also there. I hope, they get passed by the legislature, and we have these bills made into acts so that athletes and sports ecosystem can be helped. Some insights on Gujarat Sports Code as you are involved. So this was the previous Gujarat Sports Development Code, which I was involved in, not the current one, but I was reading a bit about it. I did not read it in length, and I think it's a good document that the government has put together. I think sports has been given a very has been put on a very high pedestal this time, which I believe is quite important. A lot of people ask me this question, that why there is no sports law in India, or why there is no sophisticated structures to take care of sports matters in India. I think the major problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that unfortunately after, and this is something that I say in every lecture that I give, that unfortunately because of unfortunately after even 75 years of independence, we still consider sport as a matter of entertainment and leisure, and not as a profession. As soon as that seriousness for sport is going to increase, I think everything will fall into place. Legislation is going to come in, structures are going to come in. So it's important first as a society to understand sport and give the respect it deserves, and maybe then we can think of legislations and other things. Any development, rules, regulation on sports right matters in other states. Kalpesh, other states, you mean countries, or are you talking about other states in terms of India only? India. All right. So in terms of sports, I don't know about rules and regulations. I'm sure a lot of countries are doing that. One of the best things that have happened, and it's happening all around the country, is the sports universities that are getting opened for athletes, for sports management, and so on and so forth. Delhi very recently has announced its own university. There's already one in the northeastern region of the country. We have got other country. I've heard we've got one in Swarnim Gujarat Sports University, which has been there for quite some time in Gujarat, which is a great move. And I think that's the rules and regulations that specifically you want to ask. I think one of the best rules, I think more and more, I would say appreciation is coming in for online games and e-sport. So a lot of states are now thinking of developing something on esports, how to make that structure. India as a country is also trying to do that. That esports should come into the picture, especially after COVID, where we saw that physical sport could not happen. So esports is coming in, which is electronic sports, and I think that's where a lot of focus is right now, and I think that's quite a happy state of affairs. Any other question, ladies and gentlemen? All right, Hardik has come in. The decision given by CAS, it's binding sportsmen in all over world. Yes, sir. For example, in Shishan's bowler played cricketer for other country after match fixing issue. Shishan, you're saying Shishan was playing cricket for another country, sir? Hardik, sir? After he was banned by the banned from the IPL. Okay, I don't know if this matter if he started playing for any other country though. But if that has happened, the only case I know of, and I've not followed cricket at the Code of Arbitration for sport level, was the spot fixing case that happened, between England and Pakistan, if everybody remembers, where Mohammad Amir, Salman Butt and Mohammad Asif got banned from cricket. Mohammad Amir was given another opportunity. He had a 5-year ban because he was 18 years old at that point of time. But the other two were banned by the PCB forever. So that's one case that I know definitely of, which is in cricket. I'm really sorry, sir, I haven't followed the Srishant case where he's gone to another country. I'm not very sure if that. Transparency in working of federation. Any remarks? Definitely, Kalpesa, there are issues. I would be wrong to say that if there are no issues. There are issues of transparency, accountability, corruption. I'll talk about FIFA, a sport that I follow, football. In 2015, we had a huge FIFA scandal that happened. One of the biggest in the world of sport. uh, we saw IPL, at one point of time in the Mudhul. There was some issue with the internet. I hope I'm audible. Kalpesa, am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about the IOC. So the IOC, if you look at IOC, the members of the IOC, if you look at the list, most of them come from a very, very influential background. From India also, you've got Mrs. Neeta Ambani as one of the members. You've got Raja Randhir Singh, who's an honorary member who also comes from a very well-off background. You've got Narendra Batra, who is the president of the Indian Olympic Association as well. So a lot of people have reservations about that as well, that why only influential people have been sent up there. You should have athletes. A few of them are athletes as well, who again come from very influential backgrounds. So, for example, Raja Randhir Singh, who's an honorary member, was a Commonwealth and, if I'm not wrong, Olympic player for India as well. I think he did shooting, but he comes from a very, very well-off family. He comes from a royal family. So, the kind of people that are also sent up, that has also been, into picture. People have major reservations about that as well. So there are issues for sure, but we are getting, better day by day. I would say. If any nation or country is not member of UNO and takes part in sports award of CAS is enforceable, UN, so just I didn't get the question here. How is UN coming into the picture? Are you talking about the convention? Are you talking about the New York Convention? The UN connection with CAS, I have to see, sir. I'm really sorry, I have no knowledge about this. I will not make any comments on this question. I don't want to say anything wrong, which, is not correct. I have to look into this, sir, and I'll definitely get back to you. Maybe I'll send the answer to Kalpesh sir, and maybe then he can give it to you. But I have no idea about this regarding the UN connection with the enforceability part. Never read into it. I don't know if there is a connection also. If there is, I will definitely look into it and get back to you, Jatsa. I'm sorry about this. Any other question? Any misconduct by stakeholders of sports involve criminal actions referred to arbitration. Yes, Kavita ma'am, absolutely. Criminal actions, as I mentioned, in cricket only, the Salman Butt case that happened, where they were doing spot fixing in England while a match is going on. So spot fixing is that you try to fix particular incidents in the match so that you can earn some money. There were bookies involved, and they were doing spot fixing, and unfortunately, they were banned from it. Though that sometimes, the criminal liability, the civil liability is very touchy in the area of spot fixing and match fixing. I'll give you another example. I think there are a number of violences on the field that have happened in football and other sport as well. And these matters have been taken to the court of arbitration for sport for sure. So any stakeholder, whether it's a club, whether it's an individual player, he or she has fought on the pitch. There is criminal liability, tortious liability that has come into the picture, and these matters have definitely gone to the court of arbitration for sport. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, Kalpesh sir. I understand that I can't hear you, but thank you very much to all of you for coming. In the morning at 9:30 for this session. I'm extremely, extremely grateful and glad that I was given this opportunity. Thank you, Kalpesh sir. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you, Akil sir, and everybody from Parallel University, especially from the School of Law. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tarun, for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you,
And
Kavita.
we had to prepone this webinar looking at your other the commitments. So I hope the participant got some insight on the dispute resolution in the sports area. So look forward to see you in future also. Thank you very much.